Now welcome to another Let's Talk Some Star Wars, where this time our poll question is, what did you think of the trailer for The Mandalorian and Grogu? And I will of course be reading and responding to some of the comments left on that poll. But first of all, we have to get to the actual results, where we will see that 2% of people thought this trailer was amazing, 17% said it was good, 63% then said it was mid or average at best, and that left 18% to say it was bad or pretty terrible, actually. And this is, of course, the point in the video where I say that these results may be somewhat biased, that yes, another channel who makes every video praising Star Wars is probably going to get different results than this, probably much more positive results than this. And this is simply a reflection of my audience, those who watch my videos and thus get my polls in their feed. And I tend to be more of a middle of the road. I love some things Star Wars. I don't like some things Star Wars. I have a different opinion on everything. So it's obviously, again, going to be different than a channel that is very pro Star Wars, or even one that is very negative Star Wars would probably get even worse results than this. And yes, these were pretty bad results. Let's be real about it. Only 2% of people thought this was actually amazing, and a little over 80% fall more towards the bottom half and think this wasn't very good at all. And to be fair, I don't know that the trailer was amazing. I don't think it was very impressive. I don't think it was bad, but I don't know that this felt like this went above and beyond and tried to be a real attention-grabbing trailer like we have seen in the past. And we'll talk more about that in the comments, I'm sure. And speaking of those, let's move right to them. But not before once again just saying thank you to everybody who votes and comments and watches these or any of my videos across both the channels. And a huge, huge thank you to those who support the channels on Patreon and make my Discord server, if I may say so, the best place on the internet to talk some Star Wars. And now to the comments, where once again we start with the top rated comment, the one that got the most thumbs up on the poll, and that came to us from The Wanderer, who said, "Apathy is death." And, well, I am certainly feeling that apathy or getting a taste of it on a sort of personal level, because, as I've talked about before, everybody who knows me in my day-to-day life, my friends and family, they think of me as the Star Wars guy. So anytime any piece of Star Wars information drops, major Star Wars information, or a trailer drops, or a new show or movie is coming out, they always go to me and tell me what they think, or they ask a bunch of questions because they don't understand this or that. It was like that long before I ever started to do YouTube. I've always been known as the Star Wars guy in my circle of family and friends. But after this trailer dropped, crickets. I have not got a text message, a phone call, anything anywhere from anybody I know. And again, I used to be basically flooded. I'd get a dozen people asking me or telling me something about the new trailer or whatever it is. And this time, nothing. Nobody has said anything, and it has been, what, a couple days now? I've even seen a few of my family and friends, and they didn't bring it up, and I specifically didn't bring it up myself because I wanted to see if they would, and again, nothing. And yes, you can certainly say it's just a personal anecdote, that it doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things, that the larger Star Wars franchise is fine, that it's only my circle of family and friends that are not caring as much, but I don't know about that. I really think that Star Wars is having a hard time getting that casual fan, getting that average viewer excited for the franchise anymore. I think there are a lot of reasons for that. I've gone into those reasons in many different videos, so I'm not going to go into them here again. And no, I'm not trying to say Star Wars is dying or near death, but apathy is death, and when enough people stop caring, yes, Star Wars will suffer, and who knows what the future of it looks like. Alright, let's move on now to this comment from Josh Bourne, who said, "For the first teaser for the next Star Wars film, it was very weak. They needed to come out swinging, but all I saw was Season 4. Instead of seeing a movie trailer, it just looked like another season." And yeah, I mean, if the trailer had closed with them saying Season 4 coming next year or something like that, I would have been like, oh, that looked pretty good. That looked like another solid season of The Mandalorian, that maybe they're moving away from what they did in Season 3 and trying to focus on Mando and Grogu and more adventures with them. I don't know, but I probably would have been fine with that. But as for it being a movie, I don't know. You really expect to be wowed by a movie trailer, especially a Star Wars movie trailer. There were other comments that were saying how if you go back to the Force Awakens trailer, for example, or any of the other Star Wars trailer, Rogue One trailer, there was just something to them that actually got you excited. They seemed to have a lot more time and effort put into them, not just kind of random clips assembled, mainly Grogu clips trying to be cute and funny, but it kind of set a mood, it set a tone, it gave you a hint of the story, whereas this really didn't do any of that. Again, I'm not saying it was the worst trailer ever. I thought it was okay as a Star Wars fan, as a fan of The Mandalorian, as somebody who understands what the movie is going to be about because I've been reading and keeping up with everything and know he's going to be taking a mission for the New Republic and dealing with the Imperial Remnant. I understood what I was watching. I had the context. Now, if you don't know that, if you're a casual fan, you're just watching cute Baby Yoda stuff and the silver Mandalorian guy doing badass stuff. I mean, that was about the extent of the trailer. It didn't really give you a taste of the story or anything else to come. I don't know. I really wish I could say I was wowed by it. I really wish this got me hyped for the movie, but honestly, it just didn't. That then takes us to this comment from John Evans, who said, I get the criticism that it wasn't special enough, that it didn't present anything that elevated it beyond what you'd expect from a trailer for Season 4. I think that's a fair observation. Personally, I loved Mando Season 1 and 2 to such an extent that a season half-quality movie on the big screen is something I'd be happy with, but yeah, I get it. And yeah, I think if you're a big fan of The Mandalorian, there's no reason you can't be excited to see a glorified episode or two put on the screen and maybe with some better special effects, even though I saw a lot of people kind of saying this didn't look like the special effects were all that special. But I'm assuming with this being made for IMAX that yes, they will have some decent special effects, that it will look pretty good on the big or big screen if you do see it at IMAX. So, I mean, I'm excited to see that because, as much as I love the substance behind Star Wars, I do like a good story. I do also enjoy the spectacle, and I think this movie will lean more into the spectacle, which is okay. Not every piece of Star Wars needs to be profound. I prefer it that way. I like it that way. But I do happily accept that spectacle is a big part of Star Wars and a big part of the reason why people go and see it, or some people go and see it. Not saying all of that of the commenter necessarily. I'm just saying in general, I understand people like a big spectacle and big explosions and cool stuff on screen. And that's fully what I expect this movie to be, for better or worse. And if you're excited for that, especially as a big fan of The Mandalorian, that's perfectly fine. And now on to this comment from Justin Luther, who said, the trailer was packed full of cutesy Grogu and Babu Frick moments, which is fine, but I sort of get the feeling that that's going to be the central pillar of the movie. Make cute noises, sell toys, repeat. And yeah, I think you're touching on a big reason why this movie has been made. That being, it's going to sell a lot of merchandise, or Disney hopes it's going to sell a lot of Grogu or Baby Yoda merchandise. And it's no coincidence that he was heavily featured in the trailer doing a few cute things, both as a reminder to those who watched the show before that, yes, this is your cute Baby Yoda that you went all crazy for a few years back, and hopefully you'll do that again. And for those who maybe never watched the series but heard about Baby Yoda or saw the merchandise everywhere and were curious, and now they see him coming to a movie and Disney is hoping they'll go see him too. Now, I'm not saying that's the only thing the movie is going to do, be a big commercial for Grogu merchandise, but yeah, I fully expect that to be part of it. Hopefully, and most likely, there's going to be more to the movie than that. There's going to be more than just a attempt to sell Grogu merchandise. There's going to be an actual story. Again, I'm not expecting anything too profound or crazy. Maybe it ties into the other Mandoverse stuff, especially the Ahsoka series with Thrawn coming back. I could see that being a part of it, or him being teased in here somewhere. I don't know. But yes, from the Disney perspective, this movie is in large part about selling Grogu merchandise. And moving right along now, we have a comment here from ZS Mott, who said, imagine a world where the show ended in Season 2, Book of Boba Fett was about Boba, and this movie was an emotional reunion of Mando and Grogu with the aid of Luke, or something like that. They had no plan, and this movie just doesn't seem to be necessary. I'll watch and hope it's decent. It just seems like Starfighter should have been the return to cinemas. And as I have talked about many times before, I really do think Disney intervened at the end of Season 2 when they split up Mando and Grogu and said, hey, you gotta bring those two back together, which is why Book of Boba Fett in large part was about bringing those two back together. Because they didn't have confidence that the Mandalorian could sell himself, if you will, that just the Mandalorian, just Din Djarin was going to sell, and that Season 3 would be successful without Grogu. And that goes along with what I was saying to the previous comment, that yes, this movie in large part is about selling Grogu merchandise. He is the big thing that Disney has managed to create during their Star Wars reign. He is the only thing that has really permeated pop culture that is probably recognizable to non-Star Wars fans. People who never saw The Mandalorian at this point have seen Baby Yoda or Grogu. They know more or less what he is, and that's what they're banking on here. That is the plan, to bank on familiarity, to bank on the fact that people love cute, adorable little Baby Yoda, and that they will go and pay to see him in the theater and then go and buy some merch at the store. That is the hope here. That is the plan. It's not about what makes for the best story. Because, and I say this without seeing the movie and knowing exactly what it is going to be, but I don't know that it is warranted to be on the big screen. I think I would rather have a season 4 of The Mandalorian than this movie. In fact, I'm pretty sure I would. I definitely think I would. Not saying, again, I have no hope or interest in the movie, but I very much enjoyed the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, and if season 4 went back to that and gave us 8 episodes, I would be just fine with that. I don't need to see it on the big screen necessarily. I'm much more excited for Starfighter, which I think they're kind of, in a way, taking more seriously. I think they almost see that as the relaunch of Star Wars, because that will lead us into the post-sequel trilogy era, which, for better or worse, is what they're banking on. So I have more excitement for that than I do to see 3 glorified episodes of The Mandalorian scrunched into one and put on the big screen. Alright, well, I think that is going to be all I got for this time. Now it is your turn to take to the comments below and tell me what you thought of the trailer, assuming you watched it. Many comments said they didn't bother watching it or didn't even know it was out there. But if you have seen it, which I'm assuming most of you have, what did you think? Or what did you think of anything I or anyone else had to say about it here in this video? Whatever the case may be, though, leave your comments below. Let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.